Hey guys, welcome back. BDCKR here, and we're back with another interlude to our Q&A episodes with a multiplayer team discussion. And despite last week's proof of concept of being able to do a Q&A separated by more than half the country, we won't be doing it again this week for other reasons. So instead, we've got a multiplayer team. And it's a team we've done before to highlight Static, and now we are bringing the team back to highlight Rebirth Raven. So you just saw the gears. Just to point out some stuff, it probably would have been faster to drop a special 2. Like, look how little health he had left anyways. It would have been a much faster fight, but it's kind of fun and impressive to take advantage of Raven's passive, where she's done a huge amount of damage. Same here. I mean, special 2 would have been better because we would have leftover damage onto Superman. But, so what you're seeing here, obviously, Static has Tantu, Totem, Master's Death card, and Ibistick. So he's got the boost to specials. He's getting 2 bars of power when he comes in. And he's just doing a bunch of damage. Raven has her Scythe, plus her Cloak, Cloak of Destiny, plus her Lexcorp Gauntlets. And Hawkgirl is there for her passive. And doesn't really matter what gear, she's going to be your tank. Ooh, there's another one. It would have been just so much easier to do a special 2. It would have been a much faster fight since only a special 1 was able to knock him out. And Static special 1 does not do a lot of damage. And so, Hawkgirl we're talking about. So her passive is to help us tag in and out a lot faster. And she's got Gold Soda, she's got Killer Croc, Companion Gear, and Fourth World Chestplate. I mean, they really don't matter. They're just there to make her a tank. She needs to survive so that even if Raven or Static get knocked out, whoever's standing, they're still able to tag in to take advantage of their passive or gear loadout. And despite there being a tag out pack that has Hawkgirl, but the other members are Luchador Bane and New 52 Nightwing, I'd like to propose that this team is actually better as a tag out team. So Static is really our main damage dealer, but there are a couple of sort of qualifications that you need to say. All right, so interesting team first. Killing Joke Joker is there, but not in first slot. First slot is where it usually gives people trouble. And do you want to knock them out quickly, but then you need to handle 2 teammates, each with 3 bars of power, or do you wait him out to knock out one of his teammates first? And in this case, we could have actually dropped in Raven right away to steal Batman's 2 bars, but getting stunned in first guarantees that Raven will knock him out. And Killing Joke Joker comes in first against our Raven, and this might seem like a problem, because when we trigger Killing Joke Joker's passive, the enemy's Raven will have 3 bars of power coming in, and our Raven is in the fight, so we can't steal it. But you just saw it. Static can tag in, takes advantage of Master's Death card to prevent opponent's Raven Prime from using her power, and Hawkgirl lets Rebirth Raven tag right back in quickly to steal all 3 bars. And you might have noticed that because of Static's quadrupling up on the Ibistick damage over time, even though Raven Prime's passive triggers and she swaps health with us, even at full health, her health is dribbling away really quickly. And, alright, so against Raven Prime. Rebirth Raven is good against Raven Prime's passive, the health swap, because against a stunned opponent, her loadout can do enough damage to bypass the trigger point of 10% health. If it goes from more than 10% to less than 0% in one hit, Raven Prime's passive won't trigger, like this. And even though she's got a revive from, I'm guessing, her 2 Fourth World Gear set, both hits were just enough, and you'll see that in the damage after. So Static special 1 stuns, didn't do too much damage, and yeah, it was almost perfect. Anytime, like with Astro Harness even, when you need to bypass a bunch of health to skip to invulnerabilities like a gear effect or passive effect, sweet, perfect. I mean, if you really, this is a good example of where it's not always necessarily the most important thing to go as fast as possible. Sometimes it's just fun to see how much damage output you're going to get from Raven by having a team that relies on tag out, but also has 2 specialists. So I think a general approach when you take a look at the opponent is that if they have about 100,000 health, Static Special 2 can probably handle it pretty easily. And this is going to be beauty. I think she's going to have enough health. We're going to steal her power. One thing to keep in mind is that when Raven steals, she's not stealing exactly their power. She's going to have more because she's been accumulating a little bit, and she'll get her own plus that on top of everything. So this is going to be interesting because Batman clearly has defensive gears to help his passive of taking reduced only 50% damage. Claw of Horus in this situation would have been good, but we rely on damage over time and the multiple effects that we get from Static. See how Batman's back on his heels. He's taking damage over time over and over, like 4 effects. And we still stun him though. Yeah, that's clearly he's got a bunch of defensive gears. Yeah, and Claw of Horse would have saved us a lot of time, but I think this loadout works really in general against almost any other team. Alright, so Killer Frost means Static will only have 1 bar, but that's all we need. As long as the other team's generating enough power, then we're going to steal it. So we don't get to that second bar. We'll have the one from Tantu Totem, and we don't need it. So it's missing. He didn't have quite 1 bar. We just didn't make it. We were barely close enough. We waited just a moment. I think we would have gotten there. Because part of how we normally get there is to steal the last little bit and add it to what she's doing on screen. So we need to quickly adjust to doing some basics when it doesn't stun. Basics are also boosted by both of her stun boost gears, so that's fine. Killer Frost tagging against Raven with 2 bars of power would be a problem if Static weren't so fast. And see, we were able to tag in, tag out, and still steal her power. And his special 1 didn't stun, but does plenty of damage over time with Ibistick. And you see how fast she bled out. And even though Killer Frost is blocking at the end, multiple damage over times from Static, Raven special, that's more than enough for knockout. Really efficient. So this is the pain in the butt Arkham team. Because you've got the entry hazard of Arkham Knight Harley Quinn. You've got Arkham Knight Batgirl saving her teammate and stunning your fighter, leaving them open for at least a basic combo. And Batgirl is going to often cost us 1 of Static or Raven. And we get lucky here. Arkham Knight Harley Quinn doesn't tag in when we first tag in Static, but always be prepared to block when tagging a new teammate because of Harley Quinn. So you just got to watch out for that animation that warns you that she's going to do damage. So, ouch. So we need to steal her power. Oh, and we got lucky again. No Arkham Knight Harley Quinn, but even though Batgirl wasn't stunned, we still needed to tag her in to take away her power to eliminate some of the damage she was able to do. And we got lucky again. Again, no Harley Quinn. And even if Harley Quinn had come in, we still would have managed because we would have stolen her power. We just would have had to be blocking the whole time and eat a basic combo while blocked. So we got really lucky in this fight. Still no... Oh, wow. Still nothing. And because she stole all that power, yeah, Harley Quinn would have been a problem. And it's in this kind of fight, it's not worth tagging out until Arkham Knight Batgirl tags in because you don't know if she's going to wait so long and generate a bunch of power. And we tagged in Hawkgirl just there because if Harley Quinn bombs us, we still have both Static and Raven as both damage dealers. And doing a special with Hawkgirl is basically killing time. We're not worried about saving the power. We don't really need it to do anything. We're just using up her invulnerability. And then we just got to manage power. So if she's got the power... Oh, we did not tag in Raven fast enough to steal her power. So one issue with Astro Harness on an opponent is that if their health is too low, like it seems like with our Arkham Knight Harley Quinn, it's hard to time Static Special 1, right, to stun without triggering the next invulnerability, just like that. So we're not able to stun her and really take advantage of Raven's ability. The funny thing is, Raven is actually more useful against a more powerful and a higher health opponent in this kind of situation. So, general principles, I guess, that we probably take for granted a little bit because we've been doing this for so long, is that the specialist default 2 gears are Tantu Totem, Master's Death card. And you really have to have somebody special or be using a very specific approach if you're going to deviate from that. And sometimes we can take advantage of the fact that the finish on Static's Special 2 triggers gear effects multiple times, maybe 4 or 5 times. So the opponent can lose half their health from damage over time instead of 10% just from getting touched a little bit by Static. All right. Stunner. Yeah, we would have knocked him out with Special 2. It would have been faster. Oh, that was a mistake. Should not have tagged in Hawkgirl. But we'll fix that. Now, notice I'm not playing the mini game because I don't want to do more damage and trigger a passive. Because Raven can take care of it without triggering it, right? Bunch of damage right there. So she can do, with that kind of loadout at that promotion, she's doing like 140, 150,000 damage with each hit of her Special 1 when the opponent is stunned. Yeah, he just doesn't have enough health to withstand that. That damage over time is deadly. You'd think that maybe a Blackest Night team would be dangerous, but because we got Raven, we'll let him generate power and we'll just take it. Anything interesting here? All right, so Wally West. Slight pain in the butt with Wally West dodging specials. We need to wait until he doesn't dodge his specials since this team has almost 0 basic damage potential. Our team, I mean. So we're willing to take a bit of damage from his passive in order to, because we've got a team that's all special. Oh, and it didn't matter. See, there we did a basic combo, right? It still did enough damage because we didn't have our full first bar. And we're not going to do a lot of damage with this because he's not stunned and he's blocking. But we need to get rid of her health and make it easier to manage the way we play with this team. Okay, so now he's got a bar. He's not stunned though, but we're still going to steal. Oh, our timing was just a little bit off. We were a little bit off in our timing and we didn't steal Green Arrow's power. And if he is still standing afterwards, we'll fix that this time. There we go. Yeah, it's a pretty great team. I mean, it's no Flashpoint for speed, but I think it manages a lot of potential problems that Flashpoint you have to sort of you're flying by the seat of your pants a little bit sometimes when you're hoping things turn out well. All right. So he didn't, not enough power. So you know what? Let's just hit him one more time just to make sure Raven's got enough power when she tags in. There we go. All right. So this is one of those times where we hope Raven has enough health when we do her Special 1. And it looks like maybe not. Even without playing the minigame, yeah, she just didn't have enough health. She's stunned, but she's invulnerable. It just drained too much health. So we just use up our health even though we're not going to be hurting her. And we just want to get her uninvulnerable, steal her power. Oh, bad timing. But yeah, that's one of the strategies. Even one of the things you have to get over is the instinct to want to hold on to power. Because you want to actually, you don't want to save it for her. You just want her to come in with as little power as possible to make sure her passive triggers. And Raven's done. Oh, spoke too soon. Forgot. I mean, what we need to do is buy time for the passive. And so the Special 2, even if it doesn't hit, what we're hoping for is that the time it takes to do the passive will be enough to buy us. Too late. And if you can hear that meowing, that is our cat CB getting in on the action right now. Yeah. So we'll finish this run, but I think this is a good demonstration of why this team is so good. All right, so Bane. Bane is interesting. So he's weak. This is one of those times where we're not playing for speed, we're playing for fun. we want to max out, because we're highlighting Raven this time, we want to max out her damage potential. This is a time where we, doing special 2 would have certainly knocked him out, started some bleed damage on Killer Croc. But, boom. Dropping. Oh, interesting. Right, he had a revive. Okay. Alright, yeah, really, Astral Harness isn't something that will let the opponent win so much as it is something that just kills time. And right, you just saw that. That was Static's passive, where he doesn't get his power drained. He actually generates power when he blocks a special. Alright, so Killer Croc gives us 2 bars to steal. But he obviously has Mother Box to dodge her special 2. Which makes it a little bit interesting, but we want to sort of burn through that last bar of power still. Even if it's not going to do anything. If we'd known, if we checked his stats, we would have known that he was going to be protected, and we would have done a special 1 instead, and it would have knocked him out. It was getting a little greedy and hoping to do some trailing damage with the tail end of the special 2 on Raven, like some free bonus damage on the next opponent tagging in. There you go. What else is there to say about this team? We got a couple more fights left. I don't think there's anything particularly special about this. So, the thing about Static is his special 1 sucks for damage. It sucks because it gives the enemy lots of power and it doesn't do a lot of damage, but it is spectacular for guaranteed stun. And those 2 disadvantages on a special 1 are what makes him such a great teammate for Rebirth Raven. Right, because her passive is stealing power and tagging as long as the opponent has more power. Yeah, so, Static is sort of, in name, our main damage dealer. And that can be the case, but because of the way we've geared out Rebirth Raven, she just knocks that apart, so that most fights she actually ends up doing more of the damage. It never really feels like we're in any kind of jeopardy with this team. And Static's health is low enough, it's not going to be a big deal when we swap power. Or swap health, Boom. What do we got next? So Flashpoint team. Nothing special. I'm sure one of them is going to have Astral Harness, even though Deathstroke doesn't. And as long as we knock out Deathstroke, even if one of them has Astral Harness, it's down to 3-2, or really our 2 main players against their 2. I don't even really care. The good thing actually about Raven 2, if you tag her in, it buys you a little bit of time as the second hit of her special 1 misses on the next opponent. It gives you time to see what's happening. So we can see it's Aquaman. It gives us a little bit of time to tag in, generate a little bit of power for him. Hopefully, he's just too fast. Right? So that's not bad. 1 swipe combo. She's got no basic damage gear, but because they're stunned, and because she's got 2 stun boosted gears stacked, it's still enough to take away half his health and take him to the next invulnerability. This is what I mean about getting the free trailing end special 2 damage. Unlike a lot of the newer MP click characters, her special 2 can hit multiple characters. I think that's one big weakness of some of the newer characters, is that even though they can do a huge amount of damage, they've got huge attack stats, it's just they're handicapped by not being able to knock out an opponent except with the last hit. Oh, finally. So this is sort of the perfect illustration of the beauty of this team, where Killing Joke Joker is the first slot. This is where this team really shines. Because Killing Joke Joker's health is so low, we could use Raven to knock him out with basics. We don't want to take a chance that Static does not generate enough power, and that Master's Death Cart will just knock out Killing Joke Joker. Now we got 3 bars of power we just stole, which is wonderful. So we immediately tagged in Static, right? After knocking out Killing Joke Joker, we do it again after knocking out Raven, and we stole, even though he's got, clearly Superman had Lexcorp gear set to prevent, or to reverse power drain, or maybe actually Batman Ninja helmet to prevent power drain, because he already had 3 bars. You can't tell the difference. Static is just fast enough, and we can rely on Master's Death Cart, the little hits that generate power, that the opponent isn't able to do super against him as soon as he tags in. And we stole 3 bars of power both times. And that's it. Hopefully next week we'll be able to get back on track with our regularly scheduled programming. So big thank you to our patrons on Patreon, and that's BomboBen, Console Peasant, and Edwoon at the top tier last word, Sinemac and Mohammed Albshaiti at the Your Message Here tier, Shawn Farrell, Daniel Simonson, Aaron Maule, Michael DeVries, Brandon C., Irvin Ruiz, Eddydoo, and Hoshi127, who are supporting us on the credited level, and Chris Wolff, Scarlet Dani, Awesomegamer 2for1, Pavu RS, Gavin Mallott, and Is for E at the gratitude level. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Komoda.